Good morning. Welcome to Ukrainian Media Center. I'm Elena Frolova. We have a packed day today. We're planning to have 3 briefings, so I invite you to join our activities and follow us on social networks and YouTube. We will start with a very urgent topic for us from weather, from forecasts, because what we are seeing today, we see abnormal rainfall in Europe. We witnessed an abnormally hot summer in Ukraine, and we're all expecting winter, which we have to survive under the conditions of potential limitation of electricity and heating supply. Nataliia Ptukha, the spokesperson for the Ukrainian Hydrometeorological Center, is with us. Good morning. Good morning to you and our viewers. What we see now in Europe, to which extent we can expect such rainfall in Ukraine, and for how long Europe will suffer from such rainfall. Well, first of all, I want to calm you down. This cyclone won't reach Ukraine. The peak of activity fell on the weekend, and we saw very strong rainfall in Europe. In Austria, for instance, 400 millimeters, which is a record for certain regions, up to 500 millimeters in Czech Republic. This is very huge amount for those regions. However, this cyclone is going away to the south, to Italy, but it has been exhausted to a great extent, and it did touch upon the territory of Ukraine in Odessa region, for instance, and in the Carpathians. We saw rainfall there where we recorded strong rainfall. However, all our mountain rivers were within their riverbeds, and the maximum was up to 70 centimeters at some rivers without any negative consequences. As far as European territory is concerned, the situation was like this cyclone was blocked. It couldn't go anywhere for some time. It actually whirled at one place. It was blocked by the field of high pressure from northeast, and this field provided for no rainfall in northern Europe, but there were heavy rainfalls in Central Europe. So now the active phase is past. There's low pressure, a huge field of low pressure in most of the European countries. There's a frontal system today over the Black Sea, and it can go to the territory of Ukraine. To some extent, we may see some rains today, including Kyiv region, in the afternoon. However, as of tomorrow, this anticyclone will be gaining in strength from the north, and it will provide for the weather without rainfall in every region of Ukraine, and up to the 25th, the character of the weather will be calm. We are seeing now very warm September. What about the winter as a whole? What can we talk about? Because we know that our crops have suffered because of no rain, and the front line also depends on, to some extent, on rains. What's the forecast for autumn? What's going to be there as far as the abnormally hot summer and maybe very warm winter are concerned? Yes, you are right. We had abnormally high temperature both during summer and in September. At the moment, we have the meteorological summer goes on. We cannot speak of meteorological autumn now, which starts when the average temperature for a day, for several days, stays at 15 degrees and lower. At the moment, we have higher indicators almost in every region of Ukraine, and we also have a huge deficit of rainfall. We've seen this during summer, especially in our southern regions, but also in the east and center of the country. Our agricultural meteorologists say that almost 70% of our arable lands are now under dry condition, arid conditions, especially in the south and southwestern part of Ukraine. So the autumn is going in very slowly. However, we hope that there is a chance and that this will not affect negatively the crops of the next year. And at the moment, and for the last years, we were able to conduct the sowing campaign, and it could be extended to the end of November. Do I understand correctly, that this trend of warming in Ukraine, the climate change in Ukraine, can be considered stable? Can we forecast the same for the next years, or is it temporary, which does not mean that we will have all our winters warmer? Generally speaking, as far as our climatologists say, based on their research, the global climate change does influence the territory of Ukraine and is manifested rather brightly, vividly. Yes, we have more and more periods with a higher temperature, and our summer was a bright example of this. We had a heat wave, and year in, year out, any season in Ukraine becomes rather warm. The periods with cold days become lesser and lesser. They become shorter, they become not so intensive. Of course, we cannot say that absolutely we will not have cold periods during winter. No, we don't say this, because our country, of course, is bound to be seasonal, and we will have winter in some of its manifestations, but more and more often our winters are going to be milder. And we hope that in this respect, if we don't take agricultural aspects, for which this is not very good when there are long warm periods, but for our energy sector we do hope that it will be easier. However, as we are a seasonal country, we have to be prepared for any kind of weather, and the intensity of cold weather may be lesser. Let's dwell a bit on the forecast for this winter, which is going to be rather painful for us. Do you have any forecasts that show how the winter will evolve? From the practical point of view that we can talk about different measurements and indices, it is too early to say. We can only talk about general trends that I have mentioned already. There may be more warm days than cold. As far as autumn is concerned, for September and October, we will see the average monthly temperature for 2 or 3 degrees higher than the average. In November, we will move closer to the norm. It still is going to be the temperature is still going to be higher. We have a deficit of rainfall in September. We will almost have the norm during October. It is too early to talk about winter. We will be able to talk, including us and the World Forecast Centers, talk about the processes that will influence the winter. Thank you very much. We understand that we still have some sun that we may enjoy and some summer that we may enjoy. We hope to meet you by the end of autumn in order to talk about winter and potential spring. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you later. Please don't forget that we will have our next briefing within 15-20 minutes. So please join us.